Hi guys, it's Lion Legal here, and we have exclusive footage of the subway shooter Andrew Abdullah being apprehended by New York police, turning himself in to the 5th precinct. Now, prior to playing the video, if you like this video, feel free to like it, comment, and hit the subscribe button.
Killing of Daniel Enriquez, who was 48 years old. And you can see here we do have our officials who have apprehended him as he is being walked into that precinct. Right now, happening live outside of the precinct, we do have some folks speaking with the media. Let's go ahead and listen into what they're sharing.
Now, for those who don't know, this case started all when Andrew Abdullah was on the New York Underground, the metro, and he came upon Daniel Enriquez and shot him to death. Daniel Enriquez was an employee at Goldman Sachs, a very prestigious bank, taking the train to meet his brother for brunch. Obviously, it's a horrific incident, and unfortunately, several of these incidences have been taking place in New York. Now, what happens next? What happens after a suspect turns himself in? Well, there's a criminal trial process that takes place. And the first stage is the booking process. That entails a suspect being fingerprinted, having photographs taken, essentially getting their documentation on file and also being checked for other outstanding warrants against them. It's an important stage of the process because, first of all, if a suspect is arrested, you have to identify exactly who that person is. So that's why the booking stage is important, and it takes place at the police station. Then the suspect will be transferred to court for what's called arraignment. Arraignment is when the individual is advised of the charge against him and is asked what plea he would like to make. Now, a plea is typically when a suspect says that they're either guilty or not guilty. And it's the very beginning stage of the court process. It's not trial, it's simply an indication of how they would like to plea. At that stage, there's also the bail process. Bail essentially means that whilst the person is waiting for trial, they are let out into society to continue possibly to work or to live at a specific location. It could be their parents' house or their own house, depending on the conditions of bail. So bail essentially allows you to live your life while the court process is going on. However, getting bail is very, very difficult, especially in a murder case. It's extremely difficult because obviously the court is going to be expecting, and common sense would dictate, if a person is accused of such a serious crime, they may commit it whilst on bail. And in fact, that is one of the factors that go into assessing whether bail should be given or not. The type of crime, the seriousness of crime, and the likelihood to recommit that crime. So the bail process is what takes place after arraignment. Then there's what's called discovery. Discovery means that any suspect accused of a crime has to be furnished, especially in New York, furnished with information about that crime. Why? In order to assess whether they're actually guilty or not. So the prosecutor will have to hand over photographs of any evidence of the scene, will have to hand over witness statements, and importantly, there's also what's called Brady material. So if there's anything that indicates that the suspect is not the person who is likely to have committed the crime, and that information is within the possession of the prosecutor, they have to hand that over to the defendant too. So that's what the discovery process is. And for there to be a trial, for there to be any defense, this information will have to be handed over. At that point, afterward, there will also be pre-trial motions and hearings. For example, if Andrew Abdullah made statements to the police and he said that he was forced to make those statements, there could be a pre-trial motion to suppress that statement, meaning that it would not be allowed to be presented in court in order to convict him. So the pre-trial motion stage will deal with all of the evidence, all of the problems that would arise in the trial, but could be dealt with prior to trial by a motion to dismiss, suppress, or to essentially remove those issues and obstacles so that the trial is considered fair. And of course, the last stage and the common stage, which many people are aware of, is the trial itself. The trial when there'll be witnesses for the prosecution. Well, there has to be in order for there to be a trial, or else the case would be withdrawn. And the defense can also call witnesses as well. And of course, there's the sentencing stage if the defendant is convicted. So overall, that's the trial process, the criminal trial process, and that gives an overview of what will take place. So if you like this video, make sure to like it, comment, and subscribe.